Project 06 is back, baby. This past week, lead developer ChaosX graced us with what he dubbed the P06 Silver Patch, an update to the Silver release that has, 350 documented changes, and that doesn't even include any of the new content. Seriously, Chaos, what the fuck? With such a long list, I figured it would be best to pick out the major changes and discuss them here. If you would like to read the patch notes yourself, there is a copy in the game's folder when you download it. Please download it, it's so good. Let's jump into Sonic Project 06's newest update. Side note, while I've been recording this, I've been informed that Chaos is now giving the game proper version numbers and will be updating it more regularly. Follow his Twitter to always stay up to date on the latest version since they are manual downloads. The biggest change across the entire patch is Amy's section in Dusty Desert. What was once a short romp through a couple rooms with the hedgehog is now expanded to further take advantage of her abilities. Just as before, you begin with her in the sand room and do some platforming, pop a few enemies on the head, then enter the tall room. However, instead of a simple hammer jump over to the switch and opening the door, seriously, why did Sonic Team put a switch to open the door right in front of it? You must now climb to the top of the room and hit the switch there. Chaos even got a little creative, where if you go down instead of up, there is a hidden spring that acts as a shortcut, sending you straight to the top. I love little things like this. Being rewarded for your curiosity is one of my favorite parts of a Sonic game, and this isn't the only instance of this type of design in the patch, but more on that later. Additionally, Amy now ends her section where you switch to Silver, rather than right before it to squeeze every possible opportunity to play with her stellar move kit. Next up is BeatZ. While this change is a very small one, it impacts her gameplay in a very big way. In the first Silver release, her Fire Claw attack, or her homing attack, was a fantastic tool for defeating enemies and crossing large gaps very quickly, but it had the disadvantage of having to commit yourself to the move, as there was no way to cancel it out. While this could be viewed as a balance for how strong the move is, unfortunately it did a lot more harm than good when playing as her. Well, the future's definitely screwed now. In this patch, though, the Fire Claw now only lasts for about 1 second before automatically canceling out. This sounds lame at first, considering that the Fire Claw was a fantastic way to keep the speed up in her playable sections, until you realize that you can now perform other actions out of it, including pressing the activation button again to continue your dive without any loss of speed. This is a rare instance where Chaos was able to find a solution that pleases almost everyone, and I'm sure as hell thankful for it. Remember back in the 100 Facts About Sonic P06 video where I talk about BeatZ's triple jump? If not, you totally should, as there are a ton of cool creators featured there. Now, that triple jump can be performed with the Fire Claw, leading BeatZ to be one of the most aerial characters in the game even though she can't fly. The amount of speed and distance you get from this combo is nuts, and she quickly became one of my favorite characters in a game where all of the characters are at their pinnacle in a 3D space. Additionally, the Fire Claw's speed is now modular, so if you make a mistake, you can let go of the control stick to slow BeatZ down. I've got no idea how she does it, but hey, I'm all for more control. Beyond the change to BeatZ, many of the other characters' abilities have had slight alterations. Some of the most prominent ones include Shadow and Omega's projectiles being sped up, Knuckles and Rouge now having a cooldown after they end a glide so you can't immediately start another one and keep the same altitude indefinitely. The game's manual has been updated to include the characters' power-ups. Silver's Psychic Knife now having a larger radius and can activate switches. The Legacy Jump Dash being buffed. Wait, let me see here. Slightly unnerfed, meaning that more of the speed is now kept from the dash like in the Shadow release versus the deceleration it had in the Silver release's first version, thank goodness. And on the topic of jump dashes, the curve type has been overhauled to better emulate the E3 demo's jump dash, which now makes it almost rival Legacy in terms of the most powerful type. Overall, these changes are, in my opinion, either neutral or they make the game better, which is pretty good in my book. Now, let's talk about every Sonic fan's favorite topic, physics. As a person with over 1,000 hours in this game across every demo, I thought that the first iteration of the Silver release felt near perfect for these levels. I believe that the Sonic cast is at their best when they are at most moderately overpowered for the stages they traverse, as that level of mobility allows for a massive amount of creativity from the player as they try to optimize their routes, especially in 3D. With the openness that many of these stages have, the characters in this system were able to take a lot of different paths without completely completely breaking the stage. Except for Tropical Jungle, this section was just not made with a flying character in mind. The silver patch continues this trend because, what I imagine was by accident, slope jumps have been buffed. Not to a broken degree, but the characters haven't gotten this much height from them since Demo 2, I want to say. Combo these new slope jumps with Silver's teleport dash or a spin dash from the other two hogs, and you got yourself some high-flying mammals. What is that line? To a lesser degree, the fall speed has also seen a slight increase, making the characters feel less floaty. A nice change considering there are some long drops in the game. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though, as the Badnik bounce has gotten quite the nerf. Sadly, its deceleration after hitting an enemy has been significantly increased. Now, I want to say first that I understand why this was done. The Badnik bounce in previous versions of PO6 was really good, but it felt more like a footstool. This new take feels a lot more bouncy, but I think it was a tad overtuned. A couple of the cool tricks with the bounce feel more clunky now, and in some cases the bounce is just barely not enough when it feels like it should be. I've already talked with Chaos about this, and he's pretty steadfast about keeping this change, which isn't really a problem, but I do think a slight unnerf could be good, and keep up that route creativity in the more linear sections of the game. Physics aside, Chaos has implemented a few new customization options. For starters, the TGS camera type has been removed entirely, as Project TGS now exists if you want to play with it there, and has been replaced with the option to combine a camera with a different field of view. My personal favorite is the retail camera with the E3 field of view, as it pulls the camera way back on the characters, allowing you to see a lot more of the stage. Next, in addition to cleaning up all of the current jump ball effects, there is now a new type, retail, which shockingly makes the jump ball look like how it did in the original game. Also, the UI customization now has a separate option to enable the checkpoint timers at the bottom of the screen, so the retail HUD is no longer objectively better, eat shit rev, and there is a new fan favorite option for the text boxes to emulate the cutscene subtitles, which admittedly look very good, though they are hard to read at times. Lastly, I want to talk about the stages in more detail. As you can probably tell from the footage so far, the aesthetics of the game have seen a facelift, which is most prominent in Radical Train and Kingdom Valley. For Radical Train, all Chaos did was create a new color grading profile, which in my opinion is all it needed to allow the rest of the graphics of the stage to shine. Kingdom Valley, on the other hand, has seen improvements everywhere. Since the level was sort of the poster child for 06, as many of the pre-release showcases centered around this stage, there is a lot of unused data for it. So Chaos, as he's done with most of the game, has implemented a lot of the unused and pre-release stuff, such as camera angles, texture blending, and even added a new unused object to spruce up the stage. The other stages in the game weren't neglected though, as Chaos got his Sonic Adventure 1 on and added a couple of new secrets as well as altering some of the routes across the whole game. While I'm showing off just a few of them here, definitely take some time to look in the more unconventional places in these levels, because you might not believe what you find.
I can't believe it.
These changes in particular are what I'm most excited for, as it really makes the stages feel like they have heart. The creators want you to explore, and have a blast doing so. And that is just the tip of the iceberg on every new thing available in this patch. So again, I encourage you to download the game yourself and check out the notes that come with it to discover everything PO6 has to offer. With the long road the team has ahead of them with recreating the end of the world and the boss fights, I am happy to say that this is an incredible last major update to be left with. Let me know what you think of the patch, and maybe a few of the things you'd like to see tweaked or changed down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching, have yourselves a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.